It is the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 133, December 30th, 2022, last episode of the year. I don't know how many episodes we had this year, but there are a lot, I guess.
Yeah, maybe you can add those before the next episode.
I would like to see what number our last episode of last year was. That would be really, from a mathematical standpoint,
Make it a little easier. Yes,
the best way to do it. I'm just going to try to talk
good
while I'm
luck
looking
trying
this up.
to find that. Yeah, you talk about that.
Yeah,
I will get into some basketball. Illinois beats
86.
I think 86
Episode
episodes
86.
this year.
Well, episode 86 was our last one of last year, which means 87.
40 something.
47. No.
46.
133 minus 87.
46.
13. 46. Yep. Boom. Ha.
Math is on point.
Stuck on that.
Illinois wins by 33.
Covered the spread. Great teams cover.
That's right. Covered the spread against not a very good Bethune Cookman team. There were parts of this game where Illinois still didn't look good. There were parts that they looked better.
Well, I think the parts you mean is the second half.
Yeah, which we'll get into that. Brad was asked about that. He said it's hard. We'll just talk about it now, I guess. It's hard to continue playing well when you're up 40 at half, is what he said. So you can't be, can you be mad about that?
No.
Hey guys, a couple of weeks ago, I was hoping Underwood would put his spread offense in and play Harris more. Harris is the head of the snake on our defense. I am happy. Yes, Steve. He Underwood made some changes, so you can't completely be mad at him. I know that there was probably more switching than you wanted, but I didn't think there was that much. I was at the game live. It's always hard to break down a game when you're at it live, I feel. So I may miss some things, but I thought that Sincere Harris was really good defensively. Our players of the games, our Pogs, Dane Danja, first career start. You went with Sincere Harris, first career start. Sky Clark's out with a shoulder injury. Underwood said that he's day-to-day, game-to-game. And then Melendez gets benched. I assume for Dane Danja. And I think that from what Brad said in the postgame, that it's going to stay this way.
It's the right move.
We'll see. So, Dane Danja was mine. 26 minutes, 8 for 10 from the field. Still abysmal at the free throw line, 6 of 11, but career high 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 4 blocks, 2 turnovers. Pretty good numbers. Danja is one of those guys that he can dominate a team like Bethune Cookman. According to Underwood, he thinks that he can score against anybody. He said, quote, Dane, we still have to clean up a few things as far as execution, but you saw today what he is capable of. I think he can score on anybody, and he is a guy that has a plethora of tools to score with. We have to continue to look for him.
I think he's right. I'll say this. Dane Danja against Missouri was good.
Yeah.
3 offensive rebounds, 6 rebounds total, 9 points, 4 for 4
and limited minutes. I think he only played 16 minutes that game. Yeah. So this might be the most Dane's played.
Has Dane Danja had like a bad offensive game this season? Because I don't really think he has, because his efficiency's off the charts and he's just not playing like a lot. He played 23 minutes against Kansas City. That was the most minutes he played all season until last night. He had 20 points and 15 rebounds in that game. But, against Texas, he was fine, 3 for 5 from the field, 6 rebounds, 9 points, pretty much the same stat line he had against Missouri. So I don't know how much this changes him if he's starting every game, which it seems like they're going to do.
Yeah, it sounds like that might be the plan. I know Brad was asked about it after the game. And he said that I gotta find it here. Hold on. I don't know where it is. I'll talk about it later. Steve says Harris should start every game for the next 4 years. Glad to have Trent 2.0 back.
Well,
I know you don't like that. Trent was definitely a better shooter.
And
But
Sincere has the
awful.
tools to be a better defender, I think, because of his a little bit more size.
Yeah. Dane was, of course, one of the players along with Sincere in the post-game presser. And Dane said, quote, been running some more sets for me. So that's been working. I just need to knock down my free throws. Obviously, all he needs,
they weren't that bad. They were,
yeah. So they do the free chicken nuggets thing, and I said after Dane did make 2 of them, I said it needs to be free chicken nuggets if Dane Danger makes 2 free throws, not the other team.
I agree.
And I texted that to my buddy, and he said he told his wife the same thing. So glad we're all on the same page there. Dane also said, quote, I feel like this new offense we are running is very effective, especially with me. He's not what you would call humble by any means. I am able to pass and can post up. With me being able to score down there, it opens up the court a lot. So what I was really impressed was the way Dane runs the floor. I think Terrence Shannon had a breakaway and misses the layup. Dane comes and cleans it up with a dunk. He's quick. I want to say he's fast. I'd say he's quick, especially for a big man. So I think that, that is very helpful. Again, we'll see what he does against bigs in the Big Ten. Bigs in the Big Ten are a lot different than most bigs in the country. So
on the TV. Anyway,
good.
I just wanted to this quote that you're going to read here about Underwood in practice. Is that a real quote?
Yeah, he said this in the post game. Brad said that, quote, I didn't love his rebounding effort tonight. He has been dominating practices, just dominating, literally dominating practices. It's been Kofi-esque type domination in practice.
My one comment with this is not about the fact they said the word dominating 46 times.
Yeah. Brad likes to repeat himself.
It being in practice.
Yeah.
But Kofi-esque type? Can't you just say Kofi-esque or Kofi type? Why do you say both words, Brad?
Who's he boxing out? Brandon Lieb?
Yeah, what's the vocabulary here, though? I mean, Kofi-esque type, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't know.
Let's clean up the grammar a little bit, Brad.
Hey, it's hard when you're on the spot, you got to answer questions. And
Kofi-like, Kofi-type, Kofi-esque.
Use one of them. Maybe you didn't even say type. Maybe I just put that in there because I'm not very good at transcribing.
Very possible. Very possible.
So, here's the quote. The other quote I was looking for. It was right here the whole time. It wasn't down low where I thought it was. Brad said, quote, when asked about starting Kofi, Dane Danger, he said, quote, we need his efficiency. We need his points in the paint. We need his rebounding. We need his physicality. Time to make that change.
I think Brad has realized he needs a center.
Yeah. They have to have some sort of inside-out game because Coleman was supposed to be the guy that could play outside and still play inside. And Coleman Hawkins still can't get to he can't get to the lane against Bethune Cookman, which is very concerning.
Does he even really try that much? Probably not. He stand around with the ball and flash signals.
I feel like he did try this game.
Well, I gotta be honest, second half of this game, I wasn't really even paying attention.
So we left at the 4-minute timeout. So I've apparently missed free nuggets and Sincere throwing one down. So
Sincere did have a dunk. Yes, that is true. And it looked like he could barely dunk early in the season. I don't know what was up with that. He's also 6'4", so you should be able to easily dunk. Anyway, I think Field of 68 was talking about this, how Illinois came into the season, Underwood came into the season with one way of doing things, which is to switch on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the point, I don't know who said it on there, but they're too versatile. They can't play that way and be successful in the current state of college basketball, probably. Because I think having versatility is obviously a good thing, and they have versatility, but they can have the right amount of versatility with Dane Danger starting at the 5.
Right. And I thought Dane was actually pretty good at closing out against ball screens when guys couldn't fight through them. It was nice to see Sincere fighting through screens because he can do it with ease. Something that Illinois hasn't done all year long. And Underwood was asked afterwards about fighting through the screens, and he asked what the biggest reason for switching the defense was. It wasn't because they sucked at playing that defense. It was his answer was, quote, fouls. You look at our numbers, and we are excellent or very good in every synergy category when it's 5-on-5. A lot of our fouls were coming from mismatches and being a half step off. Yet that's the big thing. Half step off when they were running the switch. He said, I hope it helps with our defensive rebound, but he wasn't very happy with it in the first half as they gave up 7 offensive rebounds. So
it's just like a program. It's one thing that's like stuck with the program is they still can't rebound on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Yep. They screwed up more than almost anybody.
Mackey's here. What's up? It's not that Coleman can't get to the basket. He just pump fakes and passes them up. So is he trying? I think he's trying. I think he tried last night and he cannot penetrate, but yeah, I don't. He also pump fakes with nobody on him a lot, which is an interesting.
And then he pulls a couple 40-footers.
Yeah, that was insane. But let's talk about Sincere for a little bit. He was your pog.
Easy money. I mean, he's racking them up. He's got a couple from you. I think I got a couple for him.
Yeah,
probably because he's the one guy
that wants to play hard
when they lose.
Yeah.
24 minutes, 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, 0 for 1 from the line, of course.
Yeah.
4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, no steals, which is surprising, but I think Dane stole some of his steals.
Yeah.
For being honest, I think Sincere created some of those.
Sincere created, a lot of.
First career start. As the kids say, he's just a dog. You know, that's what he is. I would have thought that Ty Rodgers would be the one guy that would be saying that about all year. I still think he is. But Sincere's the guy defensively.
Yeah, I still think Ty runs with a high motor. I just think Sincere's is different level. And Underwood talked about him in practice and how he just wants to – he talked about him playing Chester one-on-one and how it's a bloodbath is what he said. So I don't know. He said that he wants to fight every practice. I don't know if that's a good thing either, but hey, whatever. Sincere was asked about the second half. He said, quote, our second half is rusty. We have to come out the same way as we come out in the first half. Sincere, everybody was like, oh, how'd you get ready for that? And he goes, I don't think anything about it. He goes, I'm ready to play when I'm ready to play. If I get called in, I'm coming. So I don't know what you do when Sky comes back. I guess you can use the injury as a reason to not start him, but that'll be interesting. I thought that, the spread offense, it doesn't require Sincere to play the point. I thought that he did a pretty good job playing the point. He had some iffy times, but he made some really good passes. He got under the hoop and dumped one off to Coleman one time. There was a ton more cutting in this game. A ton more backdoors than we've seen from Illinois all year. So hopefully they can keep that going. Brad said of Sincere, quote, I thought he was excellent. Sincere provides a different energy, and he's as good of a freshman defender as I have ever coached. He takes so much pride in it. So kind of what everybody sees. I mean, Brad sees it every day. We're starting to see it more and more as the season goes on. And Brad also said about him, quote, the good thing with him is he plays and competes. His competitive level is what separates him from 99% of the country. There is a competitive edge to him that overwhelms his thinking and his mind. So he loves it. He relishes those things. Again, that's something that we're all seeing. I think that Sincere, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he keeps this starting spot. But I'm sure Brad's not going to wait 9 minutes to get him off the bench anymore.
No. So, he'll be first wave.
Yeah.
Sky should definitely keep the cornrows when he's back playing. He had those going last night on the bench. So
he had to get a haircut, right? I mean,
let's do some math on this.
It looked a lot shorter than what it usually was.
Yeah, close call. We might have to ask him.
My wife is very big on the Illinois hair. So if you didn't know, Terrence Shannon Jr. got a new haircut. And then, of course, Sky Clark. I didn't even think Sky Clark was there. My buddy was at the game before me. He was texting me. He's like, did Sky transfer already? So
he's just there supporting the guys. He's sitting next to Luke Goody.
there. Yeah, so I told my wife that we would have a portion of the show called Heather's Hair, where she can come on, tell you guys all about the player's hair.
Well, Matthew Meyer would be top of the top if he would have kept the mullet going.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Yeah. So, again, first career starts for both Danger and Sincere, and it seemed like Illinois started with a different kind of energy. So we'll see how that carries over to Big Ten play, because Big Ten play is coming. This game, I don't think this game tells us anything other than, you saw some things, you saw some changes. The coaches decided to wear blazers. Everybody's making a big deal about that. Underwood was asked about it, and he said, I was just tired of the look, and he wants to bring it back. He said he didn't know if he'd ever wear a tie again, but it sounds like the Blazers are back for good. So
interesting move.
Nice that he's acting like a professional.
He should wear the orange pants.
I didn't know that's how you lead teams, by wearing blazers, but apparently that's how he's going to lead.
No tie kind of hurts it for me.
Yeah.
I think you got to have a tie.
I agree. What's the point? He said that the ties might come back. We'll see, but
I'll get a 0 on this one, guys.
Yeah. I know you had a hard time probably not picking Coleman.
Yeah, well, he's elite. I mean, Coleman Hawkins really just as good as it gets. Dominant is one word that I use to describe him typically, especially off camera. I'm like, dude, he's so good. I tell everybody how good Coleman Hawkins is.
He just kept texting me all night last night. Coleman, 29
Twitter
minutes.
Definitely shows that too, yeah.
Coleman, 29 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. I think he was 0 for 2 from the logo, because those are high-quality shots. He made both his free throws. 11 points, 11 rebounds. Nice double-double for Coleman. So
he thought he was wearing a Spurs uniform last night.
About how good he is. 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Nice big 4 turnovers.
This was Coleman Hawkins' most efficient game offensively since Texas, where he was 2 for 8 from the field. So from the efficiency, from the offensive rating standpoint on KenPom, this was his best game since that, because Missouri was bad, Alabama A&M not great, Penn State not great, Texas and Maryland is where he stood out in the offensive rating game when it comes to the KenPom numbers. So, yeah, I think 4 turnovers for him last night feels low. It felt like he had more than that. I would also say that I think the turnovers that he has are so bad that it feels like it's more than 4, because there were some puzzling ones, just some horrible passes, horrible decisions. Yeah, it's I don't know. Pretty much no growth for Coleman this season, I would say. Hasn't shown much. Hasn't shown the ability to grow into his role as a starter and as like the guy that's mostly trying to run the offense. I don't know how the coaches would view this game, because I think the metrics make it look like, okay, not bad, but then the tape can't look great, especially with those turnovers and especially with a couple of those shot selections, not good. But what you see is what you're going to get from Coleman Hawkins this season. I think the only inconsistent part of the season for him was, or the only consistent part of the season for him was probably Syracuse and Maryland back-to-back. He was good in those games. Outside of that, a lot of inconsistency. Virginia and UCLA, not great. Eastern Illinois and UMKC, good, but, I mean, please. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what Coleman's role looks like later in the season if he continues to play the way that he's played, especially from an offensive standpoint, where you see some plays and you're like, good, great play, great pass, and then you see some of the shots and some of the shot selection, and it's not good. You would think they can get that figured out. He had 2 offensive rebounds in this game as well, but overall an uneven performance and kind of just what we've seen from him all season. So nothing really different there. Terrence Shannon Jr., 26 minutes, 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 for 6 from the field, free throw line, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 3 turnovers. He was all over the place in the first half defensively, as most of the team was, but Shannon especially was really, really good defensively in that first half. His stat line against Missouri was good, but he was better in this game from 3. He didn't make any threes against Missouri. He was 0 for 5. And going into this game, in the last 5 games before, he was 2 for 22 from 3. And he goes 2 for 4 last night. So somewhat encouraging. I mean, I know who the opponent is. I know, how unfair the game may have been on paper between these two teams, because Illinois is just a much, much better opponent in comparison to Bethune Cookman. Don't tell that to Michigan and Central Michigan. We'll get to that later. But Shannon in this game, good, I would say. Like I said, just an absolute menace on the defensive end in the first half especially. Steve says, can't wait for Luke to get back the way Coleman is playing. Yeah, interesting to see how Goody and Melendez, with Melendez is maybe not starting anymore, interesting to see how he plays off the bench. Both of them were good off the bench last season. I'm curious to see if that is something that happens this season as well. We will see. But yeah, Shannon, I thought solid game. In transition, teams are getting back a little bit better against him. I think yesterday was kind of an example of that. They seemed to get back in transition well against him. But he was still able to make some plays and score some points or dump it off to Danger or Epps or Sincere, and they made it work. Matthew Meyer, 23 minutes, 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 0 turnovers. Kind of, streaky shooter. He's been making a lot of threes lately, and he goes 1 for 6 in this game. I think he was maybe forcing a little bit early. We're on to Meyer, by the way.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Meyer's just an inconsistent player, and he was inconsistent in this game. But I thought overall he was fine. I mean, he wasn't bad. He just didn't make very many shots. Yeah,
it seemed like an off night for him, especially from 3. But I don't know if you said this quote from Brad, but he said, I don't worry about Matt. He can brush stuff off pretty quick. So,
well, he had a 4-game stretch with 14 threes on 20. I'm really struggling with math today. I have to say, 14 for 27 going into this game. In the last 4 games, so pretty good. And then as in terms of Hawkins, I just said, inconsistent. It's what you get. The 4 turnovers. The turnovers are so bad that it feels like 8 turnovers instead of 4.
Yeah, I saw somebody say, it's nice that Coleman had a double-double or whatever, but like against Bethune Cookman, Coleman should be 20 and 20, right? 20 points, 20 rebounds.
I don't know about that. I would say 20 points. Yes, 20 rebounds.
I mean, 11 rebounds is pretty good.
I would say more than 4 assists would be where I would be at on that.
Yeah, one of those assists should have been a turnover.
Well, he just threw it across the court to RJ, and then
somehow fell in RJ's lap.
I don't think it 2-bounced to him, but it almost 2-bounced to him. Or double bounce, I guess.
He was trying to pass it to Danger, I believe, and it kind of went through his hands. And
he should get some of his assists taken away because he's got many of those. The Epps one in New York, there's a lot.
I think you take away an assist every time you make a turnover, right? So really, he had 0 assists this game.
How many? What's his assist to turnover ratio this season? That's an interesting question for everybody to.
That is a good question
to look into. I'm going to look that up. And also Shannon, I just said, solid, not his best, not his worst. I think teams are maybe getting back in transition on him a little bit better.
It was nice to see him, knock a couple threes down. He's been struggling.
2 for 22 in the last 4 games going into this one from 3.
Yeah. So it was nice to see that. I thought his defense was really good this game. I thought he's one of those. I feel like him and Sincere play the 2 best on-ball defenses of on the team.
Shannon's defense in the first half was elite with all capital letters.
Yeah.
Coleman has 50 assists, 41 turnovers.
There you go.
Last year he had 50 assists, 45 turnovers for the season.
Holy smokes.
So 20 less games to get to 50 assists this year. But also,
hey, can you look up Curbelo on assist turnovers this year? Just for fun. I'll talk about RJ a little bit. Of course, he didn't start this game. Played 24 minutes. He was 1 of 8 from 3. All he took was threes. They were all pretty much open. 2 for 2 from the line, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover. Underwood said of him that, quote, Brad had his best 2 days of practice. He made everything today. I was excited for him, and he has lost some confidence. Good shooters have to work their way out of that. The looks he got were really good. So,
shoulders back. He can make shots again, folks.
He made one. He literally made one, and you text me, RJ's back, and then he misses the next 7. So,
well, what can you do? He made one. You just need to see one go in.
That's right. And yeah, hopefully RJ can get that figured out. The thing I think, like, RJ was really good at getting to the hoop last year, and we haven't seen that from him much this year.
Maybe we'll see it more if he's in a role where he's coming off the bench against better teams.
Yeah,
and they need him to.
Yeah.
And
that's what RJ was good at. He was a good role player coming off the bench. Instead of being a breakout guy, we need him to be old RJ.
Andre Curbelo is 71 assists, 43 turnovers. So that's 21 more assists and
same amount of turnovers.
2 more turnovers, I think. But also say this: he's shooting 45% from the field. Last year he shot 33%. Freshman year, he shot almost 50%, but he's also shooting 30% from 3. But these numbers are inflated because St. John's schedule, I mean, come on. You're not going to turn the ball over against New Hampshire or Long Island or Niagara. I mean, their schedule is an absolute joke.
Coleman turned it over 4 times against the number 345 defense in the country.
Well, it's because he thinks he's in the NBA and he thinks he's wearing – he looks down, he's like, I think I'm wearing a Spurs jersey right now. And it's just embarrassing.
Jeremy, what's up? He says, first time all year I've seen us run something that resembles offense. Played like an AAU team till this point. Brad has made major adjustments before, and I trust he is in the process of doing it so again. Yeah, I think that he did. Like, I think there was something, but the thing is, you can't judge it against Bethune Cookman. Like, let's see when they play Northwestern, who is in the top 10 of defensive efficiency, and see how this offense works. It's really easy to cut when you're just running guys over.
Well, I was told that Underwood doesn't make adjustments ever. That's what I heard. That's just the word on the street. That's what I heard. The word
on the street. Zach is here. What's up, Zach? Harris's energy makes his team play with so much more effort and heart. First half, the ball was getting passed around in our around the key. Looked like a true team. Yeah, they definitely moved the ball better this game. So I'm not going to say they didn't. Again, it's Bethune Cookman. I don't want to sound negative.
Don't tell that to Bardo. He's talking us up last night. His team's rolling. Look at them. They're real off.
Good. Jaden Epps, 21 minutes, 4 of 7, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 for 1 from the line, 10 points, 2 assists, 1 block, 0 turnovers. Always think that's a big number, especially with a team that turns it over so much. Still amazes me how good Jaden Epps is at finding angles around the basket. Like that one kiss he had off the glass was just beautiful. So, Jaden Epps is still playing really solid. This was a really good game for him. I think Illinois had 5 guys in double digits this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it's always good. Steve says it was easy to go to the rim last year when Kofi was being guarded. Now it's against a center that is not guarding anyone. That's why I think you need Dane in there, right? We need Dane in there, and especially because I think that you'll be able to dump off on to Dane too, and he'll be able to do something with it. So hopefully that keeps happening. Brad, what's up? Danger has to start from here on out. Fair.
It's going to happen too.
Ty Rogers, 18 minutes, 1 for 3, 1 for 2 from the line, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Yep. Ty Rogers seems like a body. Like
he was
body
there.
They throw out there. He was there just as much as Brandon Lieb was. 8 minutes. Yes, we have a Brandon Lieb line. 8 minutes, 1 for 1, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover.
Well, in terms of Ty Rogers, real quick, it should say 1 for 3 from the line. It doesn't count, but he did get a redo on his second one and still missed. He did make the first one, so that was pretty, good stuff.
All right.
And Lieb, 4 rebounds. That is 2 less than Danger and 18 less minutes, folks. I'm just saying.
Start Brandon Lee.
I think there's a competition to be had.
Other notes and quotes. Here we go. 15 turnovers against one of the worst defenses in Division I. So you got to love that. 17 assists on 29 made baskets. This is their best assist ratio since the Syracuse game. Everybody talked about it. It was a lot of one-on-one basketball for those losses. Hopefully Illinois is figuring it out, getting some ball movement, starting to trust each other, like Brad says. Again, Brad accredited this to passing. Obviously, if you pass, you get assists. So that was a great analysis by Brad. 8 for 28 from 3, 28.6%. Pretty close to their best shooting percentage from 3 all year, maybe. I don't know. They were 19 to 27 from the line for 70%. That probably is their best free throw shooting this year. And then they were about 50% from the field. So all good stats there. Jeremy, I would love to see Danger work out of the high post more, kind of QB from the middle of the floor. I'm okay with that. The problem is when you get Danger too far away from the basket, he thinks that he needs to put it on the floor and make a move. And right now he's not great at that. He's good with his back to the basket and the spin moves. He can do it occasionally, but I think that's one of the things that Underwood brings up about execution. I think that's what he's talking about.
15 for 20 from the free throw line against Monmouth. So debunked.
Sorry. I said probably close. So
I don't know if those are the words, but you know.
Probably is. 100% is. Is that what I said?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Brad's post game. Here we go. He stepped up the mic and said, "Yep. Thought we played really hard and had really good focus, especially early. Our week of practice helped us do it defensively." I think they only practiced 2 days, but hey, a whole week of it. He said that he thought the ball movement was better. I think our guys are starting to understand Sky's out, hurt shoulder, day to day, game to game, like I said. So, yeah, ball movement, great. The media, like you, kept asking about Illinois only winning by 5 in the second half. I brought this up. It was 38-33 in the second half. And Brad said it's hard to play when you're up 40 up when you're 40 up at half. Biggest disappointment was their 7 offensive rebounds in the first half. In the second half, we fouled too much. So Brad's not worried about only winning by 5 in the second half. So everybody can just be quiet about that. He was asked about Zach Perrin. I don't know why we're asked about a guy that's been around for a week. Brad said 4 practices, no chance of him playing tonight. We will continue to develop and monitor at some point. It may be this year, it may be next week, whatever. I don't have a timeline.
The only way he plays this year is if there's injuries.
Yeah. He talked about like offensively, he understands, but defensively, he doesn't understand Illinois' defense. Well, that's probably because he's been here for 4 practices and they've already switched it. So,
yep.
And then this is a long one, but I thought it was a good one. He was asked if he thought the team is where he thought they would be at this point. And he said, quote, "Let's compare last year's resume to this year's resume. Our best non-conference win a year ago was Mizzou, and they were awful. Their coach got fired. You want to go with K-State? They weren't a tournament team either. Their coach got fired."
Oh, why are we taking shots?
I know. I had to put it in there. I thought Bruce Weber decided to retire.
Yeah, their best non-conference win last season by far was Notre Dame, right? Yeah. I mean,
probably
Notre Dame was a tournament team and got to the second round.
Yeah. So Brad,
I don't know. What are you, an idiot, Brad? Come on.
I can't believe he went after Bruce Weber like that. But
and Missouri Missouri was their 3rd best non-conference win. K-State was 2nd, Notre Dame was 1st, and then 4th was obviously, as everybody knows, Arkansas State. So
yeah.
elite.
Yeah. So he continued on with, we had nothing last year. Now we just took 5 freshmen and have 2 top 10 wins. And if the season ended today, give me that resume every day. Missouri is 13-1. That loss isn't going to hurt you. At Maryland isn't going to hurt you. Virginia is a top 5 team in the country. That's not going to hurt you. Selective memory, forgot about Penn State.
That
Whopping them
might
at
hurt you.
home.
Yeah.
He said, would we have liked to have won them? Yeah. But remember now, I have said from day one that we are really, really young and there are going to be speed bumps. I love our upside. I love where we can go. I love where we are at because we have had to deal with some stuff.
I think he's right. And I think we should be very pleased that Illinois is not in the same spot as Iowa or Michigan.
Yeah.
Who have like unrecoverable losses pretty much.
Yeah.
Like 2 awful home losses.
Yeah, Brad said Michigan lost. We're going to talk about the rest of the Big Ten here in a little bit. But
I'm not going to gloat about Michigan. I don't really care. I mean, if we're Illinois fans, why should we care?
Yeah, they're irrelevant. Why would we care?
Not only that, it's just like, let's focus on our guys here.
Yeah. Brad then said, we are 9-4 with 2 top 10 wins. And okay, we didn't play very, very good last game. The world is not coming to an end. It's always the long game. You guys always think about this game, and I think about the long game and where we are, and I'm pretty happy with that. So, media, stop thinking about one game, okay?
18 Big Ten games.
18, yep. Yep. He said that they thought they got better, and now it's 18 Big Ten games staring them in the face.
So. I think you need to go 10-8 to feel good, right? About getting in.
Yeah, it'd be 500 in the Big Ten.
Well, yeah, but it depends on who you lose to.
Yeah, 9-11. I
don't know about that.
I don't know if that gets you
9
anywhere.
9-13 in the Big Ten. I don't think that does it. Big Ten tournament obviously matters too, but yeah, I mean they have 2 really good wins that'll help them a lot, and they have 3 losses that aren't going to hurt them most likely.
And again, it's Bethune Cookman, but you saw some changes. Again, you hope that can carry over into other games. They go to Northwestern, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they have number 15 Wisconsin at home after that.
How was Wisconsin ranked?
I don't know, but I think these 2 games are going to be. We're going to see where Illinois is at, and if we need to go full panic mode, or if we think they're going to be okay.
I mean, you also think about this in terms of resumes and Big Ten teams. Like Rutgers got in last year at 18-14 with 3 non-conference losses to number 103 DePaul, 323 Lafayette, and 185 UMass. Plus a loss to Minnesota in the Big Ten, a loss to Maryland, who wasn't that good last year in the Big Ten, a loss to Northwestern in the Big Ten, a loss to Penn State. It takes a lot. You got to suck pretty bad to have the wins that Illinois does right now and miss the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, unless you just are horrible. Like, Rutgers went 12-8 in the Big Ten. That's great, but their losses were horrible.
Yeah.
14 losses with like 6 or 7 awful losses. So,
yeah, and right now, I mean, the only bad loss, and the only one that looks like a bad loss is Penn State.
And Penn State's probably going to be on the bubble or close to a tournament.
I think they'll be a bubble team. So Brad asks if you think Sky Clark comes off the bench when he comes back. We talked about it earlier. I think that his injury is going to give Brad an excuse to have him come off the bench. We'll see how long it lasts. I think that he should. I think the team comes out with more energy when Sincere's on the court. I mean, I haven't seen a guy from Illinois slap the court all year, and Sincere was doing it against Bethune Cookman when they were up 20. So
that's right.
Give me more of that guy. Jeremy, I see 6 losses, still getting a share of the conference. I could see that.
I think it depends on where Purdue's at.
What Purdue does. Purdue's schedule's not. I mean, it's not that hard, right?
But they're going to lose a couple that they like. Nebraska, they weren't good. They probably should have lost that.
Yep.
Nebraska might. What we're about to get into here might be hard to play there. I don't know. Teams have kind of struggled in there,
That's
but
true.
we'll get there. Around the Big Ten, I mean, Big Ten play is pretty much in full swing now. You're going to have some interesting games on New Year's Day that kind of gets it going. But as for last night, there was a lot of Big Ten teams in action, and obviously the most notable game is the Michigan losing to Central Michigan, 63-61. Central Michigan has former Illini commit Reggie Bass there. I think he was a part of this year's class and then decided not to, given the fact that he had Sincere, Sky, and Epps ahead of him.
Yep.
Fair point. He hit the dagger 3, had 16 points, 7 rebounds in that game. He's pretty much like Sincere, except I don't think he's as good defensively. Same size, left-handed, exact same player from what I've heard from people. aka people who think Trent is exactly like Sincere. But going into this game, Central Michigan was 295 on KenPom, and they were 4-8. So they go up 55 spot or 25 spots. Nice math. I just read the wrong number. But they were 4-8 going in. They had losses to Marquette, Minnesota, High Point, Cal Baptist, Robert Morris, Tulsa, Missouri State, Youngstown State, which a few of those teams are solid mid-major teams. But yeah, I don't know. Michigan just Dickinson's not playing as well as he.
Oh, he only had 12 points last night.
13.
13. Wow.
7 from the free throw line.
That's brutal.
He hasn't hit the 24 straight games under 20 points. He had 23 against Kentucky, 23 against Virginia. Started off the season well. Had 31 in that Eastern Michigan game that Amani Bates almost single-handedly beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan not in a good spot. 7-5. They're 1-0 in the Big Ten, but that Big Ten win was Minnesota. So I don't know. I don't think that this team is going to be as bad as they look right now, but they're certainly going to be in a spot where it's going to be close whether they make the tournament again. I think similar to last season. So they were 11 seed or 10 seed or 11. I think they were 11 seed last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, Chet Howard's probably a lottery pick. 3 for 11 from 3 last night. I don't know. Doug McDaniel, you're relying on a freshman who's under 6 foot to run your offense. I don't know how well that's going to work. I don't know. But that's a really bad loss. And it's not as bad as Iowa's loss to Eastern Illinois, but
yeah,
you also had Iowa respond by then losing at Nebraska and just having a horrible night offensively.
Yeah. What'd you say? They were
3 for 25 from the field.
Ouch.
How is that even possible?
Iowa, they could play blindfolded and make more shots than that.
Iowa beat Bethune Cookman by 31 to start their season, so they got that going for them. Congrats on that. Illinois beat them by 33, and then Iowa beat them by 31. Indiana beat them by 52. But anyway, what can you do? I don't know. You can't respond to losing to Eastern Illinois to then only scoring 50 points against Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. It seems like Iowa has maybe 2 scorers right now. Rebraka has been great. 16 points in that game. 13 rebounds.
Is Chris Murray back?
Chris Murray had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. And then here's the rest of their scores. So those 2 had 33 points. Patrick McCaffrey, 3 points. 1 for 9 from the field. Tony Perkins, 3 points. 1 for 6 from the field. Aaron Eulis, who starts, 0 points, 0 for 4 from the field. Connor McCaffrey, 5 points, 2 for 8 from the field. Josh Dix, I don't know who that is. He's a freshman. 5 points, 1 for 2 from the field.
Fran nice. Just threw in, said,
"Yeah,
come out there and play basketball."
And Desante Bowen, 1 point, 0 for 4 from the field.
I saw something on Twitter that said that, I don't know if it was after this game or after a different game, that Fran apparently went after the refs and told them that they were effing cheaters. So,
well, you know, Fran likes to have a good relationship with the refs and doesn't cry about it at all.
Yeah.
But kind of weird in this game, Peyton Sandfort, who's been playing 20-plus minutes for a lot of the season, showed flashes last year of being good, had 10 points against Purdue in the Big Ten tournament championship. He played 9 minutes last night and was 0 for 9 from the field.
Ouch.
So played 35 against Eastern Illinois. I don't know what's going on there, but Iowa's offense, not what it once was. I mean, they went from having Garza and Wieskamp and Bohannon to then having Keegan Murray and Bohannon to now having Chris Murray and Philip Rebraka and McCaffrey's kid still there somehow. So,
yeah,
22nd in the country still, but that was a really bad performance. But, I mean, give credit to Nebraska. Their defense is 41st in the country, which compared to the last few years, they were 178 last year. They were 40 2 years ago, but they won 7 games. And the year before that, they were 152. So they've gotten better defensively. And then, they have some good wins this year. So, I mean, they're not a good team. They're 8-6, 1-2 in the conference, but maybe they're not as bad as we thought.
Yeah. Jeremy says Purdue can't shoot fish in a barrel. I think Purdue's a very streaky shooting team. You saw it in the close game against, was it Nebraska? Who was it? The game that they should have lost? Yeah. Nebraska. When they weren't shooting, they really didn't have a lot. St. Dominic's Rosary says Wisconsin once again soft-ass non-conference schedule.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, given some of the non-conference schedules that we've seen. They played a semi-home against Stanford. Stanford's not great, but, top 100 team. Dayton, they played neutral. They played USC neutral. USC, not good still. They played Kansas. They played Marquette. So I think soft non-conference, you could probably say that, given the fact they didn't really – I mean, they had a true road game against Marquette that they won, but you could – maybe say in between soft and hard, as if you want to go that route. But
interesting,
interesting choice of words by me. Certainly, if people want to flip that upside down, turn it around, whatever you want to do, they
clip
go ahead
it and ship it, baby.
Absolutely, but I don't. I think there's other teams in the Big Ten that have had softer schedules.
Yeah, definitely. Jeremy thinks that Penn State will be fighting for the Big Ten title with 6 losses. Inbrot says Sanford got hurt under the basket.
Okay, yeah.
Watch your basketball.
I saw him going to the bench, and I was like, I wonder if he's hurt. And I was like, oh, he's 0 for 9 from the field. He just sucks.
That's what happens when you have 3 TVs going. You can't.
That is true. Had that in the middle. Just trying to pay attention. But yeah, why are we saying Wisconsin is a soft non-conference schedule? What's going on here? Seems unfair.
MJ, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right.
Purdue had a pretty hard non-conference schedule, right?
They beat some good teams.
Indiana, played Arizona, played Kansas. North Carolina has good metrics. Xavier. Anyway.
Not we're talking. Ethan is talking about.
No, it's we. He brought it up.
Did I miss the Coleman hate, or is this segment coming up? Well, I had a phone call, so Ethan got to hate on Coleman all by himself. I don't even know what he said. So
I didn't go that hard at him.
Okay. Well, he had a double-double. You can't go hard at him. Okay.
Purdue 13-0, 11-0 in the non-conference.
There we go.
Could be. Purdue 13-0, 11-0 non-conference. They really just let it all go at the end of their non-conference. They didn't play anybody to finish it up.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. I mean, their MTE had some tough games with Gonzaga and Duke. So, but they finished with Hofstra, Davidson, New Orleans, and Florida A&M. So 2 of the worst teams in the country. A lackluster Davidson team and a Hofstra team that's just not there yet. But they open up Big Ten play. They got Rutgers, Ohio State, Penn State, Nebraska, Michigan State. So maybe some losses in there. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe. 15-2.
I'm reading comments.
Yeah, everyone's coming after everybody now.
Gotta lose the landline. It's a business line. MJ said he always gets too much hate. Just had to check. Didn't hate on him fully.
Guy's a bum. Anyway.
Still needs to stop pulling up from the logo and making terrible passes. There you go. And blaming your teammates when you make a terrible pass. I can't stand that. I did miss who'd I text you went to the basket? Sincere? Yeah, Sincere had a drive, and we're up in the 200 section, and I could hear Brad Underwood say, "Nice effing drive," except he didn't edit it. So
why didn't he edit it? Nice effing drive.
Nice effing drive.
Well, Let's also toss this one out there.
I yelled back, "There's kids here." So
Matthew, well, I would use like 5 cuss words in one opportunity there. Matthew Meyer's head almost hit the rim on that block. That's
that
the
was
difference
a nice
between
block.
that's the difference between the 0-star white players and the good white players. Just so we're clear on that. Northwestern is 9th in the country.
Iowa players first.
I didn't name names.
Okay.
Northwestern 9th in the country in adjusted defense. Excuse me. They would never be good offensively. Are you kidding me? With the inefficiency of Boo Buie and all those clowns.
That's what I'm saying. That's who Illinois got to play, and we'll see if Brad's offense really changed that much.
I think this lines up. This is like Northwestern. The new year hits, they just fall off a cliff. So I'm not giving them any respect until they actually prove that they deserve it.
Goody will definitely help the spacing and open lanes for Shannon Epps. I hope so. I gotta show you my poster. Go ahead, though.
Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota are all 0-2 in Big Ten play. Illinois with losses to Penn State and Maryland. Minnesota with losses to Michigan and Purdue. And then not Nebraska. Iowa with losses to Nebraska and Wisconsin. So, yeah, I think all of those teams are 1-1 or 0-1 at home in the Big Ten as well. So not good. Not a good list for Illinois to be on with those two.
Lou Goody poster. He's sitting down because I'm guessing that his foot hurts.
Probably.
So,
yeah.
It was between him and RJ because all the other ones were taken. My niece got Coleman Hawkins, and I told her that I could burn that live on the show for you guys.
Burn it. When he announces that he's entering the draft or transfers, see ya. Ohio State's adjusted offense is 3rd in the country. I think that's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, 80 points against Texas Tech, 81 against Cincinnati, 77 against San Diego State, 72 against Duke, 90. I mean, I feel like they're kind of padding it when they scored 91 against Robert Morris or 82 against Charleston Southern. I don't know. I don't know if I buy all that.
Brad said, "Does Matthew Meyer ever pass?"
Whoa! First of all, he spelled his name wrong, and second of all, yes, he does. He's
because it'd be Mayer if it was Mayer, obviously. Schlagboy wants to know if my niece throws darts. She should. She is a 8th grader, and she thinks Coleman Hawkins is really cute. So that's. Oh, then why'd she get Coleman Hawkins?
Not this week.
Oh,
Matthew Meyer has 4 assists in the last 5 games. You can shut up about it.
Averaging 0.75 assists a game.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He passes the ball. Why do we want him to pass the ball?
No, he doesn't.
He's not a point guard.
Jeremy says Goody also brings someone that can score, but also brings energy and effort. I think Goody brings a leader that this team has been lacking.
I think Goody's the only lottery pick on this team.
And also, everybody says Goody's going to change this team, and I've said it before. I'm not sold on it yet. We'll see how he plays. Yeah. Now there's Goody slander.
I was going to give it like a 5-second pause and just move on.
Okay, move on. Anyways, how we doing? This was a nice short stream.
Yep.
Clearly,
I said 55 minutes.
Really 55 minutes. So go ahead and finish these up. We'll be right at 55 minutes.
3 Big Ten games on New Year's Day, which is Sunday, as
Sunday?
some people would say.
Nobody says Sunday.
I don't know about that. I beg to differ. Ohio State at Northwestern. That'll be a good one. I get to see Ohio State score 95 points against Northwestern's so-called elite defense.
Yeah. I think it's great that they have to play Ohio State before Illinois plays them.
We'll get more film on them. We'll get a look at them.
Yeah.
We'll consult Brad on what's what with their film.
That's right.
Send him some notes if you want us to do that. Maryland at Michigan. Is this a legacy-defining game for Michigan? I mean, they need this one. They need it. Hunter Dickinson is a guy that plays better against good competition. Like Virginia and Kentucky were 2 of his best games.
I think you're right, yeah.
And Central Michigan, he just didn't even, do anything.
Yeah.
Well, against good competition, unless it's Illinois, of course. Sorry. And then Iowa at Penn State. Once again, Iowa needs this one. It's going to be hard. I don't think Iowa matches up well with Penn State at all. So they're going to need Rebraka to score like 25 points and have 20 rebounds. So 3 games where there's a reason to watch, I would say. And then Rutgers at Purdue. I'll just say this. That's January 2nd. I'll just say this. Rutgers is unlucky. They should be playing this game at home. Purdue gets all the breaks. The refs are on Purdue's side. I'm sure Payne's slipping them some money before this game, just like Illinois did last night in the first half. Because Illinois got every call. Like, there were so many calls where they were not fouls. And also, on the flip side, Bethune Cookman traveled about 461 times, and there should have been more of those called. But also, they called Bethune Cookman player for carrying, and it's like, okay, have you watched everybody?
That was a very, very. I could see that from the 200 section.
But
I think that he might have called it because I yelled it from the 200 section.
That could be. It could be. I mean, you're cheating too. Coleman Hawkins bounces around with the ball and big time into this. We shouldn't ever call it, because if guys like Marcus Carr don't get called for it, then what's the point of calling it?
His was not a normal dribbling, though, is what I would define that as. It wasn't in a normal motion.
Brad slipped the ref some money and said,
anyways, January 2nd, all Illinois fans are going to be doing is watching Illinois in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I did buy my first Illinois football shirt. I'm wearing it right now. ReliaQuest.
And given that we are in a ReliaQuest, since we are in Illinois podcast, we need to support the sports. And the women's basketball team is better than the men's team, apparently. They're 12-2. They beat Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin's not a world beater. They're 4-10. But Illinois, New Year's Day, women's team plays Iowa. So, that'll be interesting. But, I mean, the women's team, this is year one for their coach, right? Don't know her name. I can get that for you.
Shauna
Green. It says it over here.
Shauna Green. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to let everybody know that I did not know that. I was guessing.
By the way, Illinois might have sold 15,544 tickets to the game last night because it says 100% capacity, but wasn't even close to that.
I think somebody's buying tickets on the side and then just.
Well, it was $10 ticket game, so I think that a lot of people probably bought them and they're like, yeah, they've been sucking the last couple of games. We're not going.
There needs to be kin palm for women's basketball, because I bet Illinois' defensive efficiency would be off the charts. They didn't give up more than 60 points in their first 5 games. So that's where we're at.
All right, wrap this up. We're not going to an hour. You said short podcast.
57 minutes, 45 seconds. I got 5 seconds. Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Probably Tuesday, preview the Northwestern game. We're going to go to 58 just so I can get the rest of my words in here. We got episode 134.
When are we doing this?
I guess Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know.
Tuesday sounds good. We can't do a watch party because you got basketball, right? Hooping it up.
Yeah, I guess.
What's that on your shirt? Is that an O?
Yeah, it's Ohio State. Yeah. It's not, but I'm just supporting Oregon winning a bowl game the other day.
Okay.
My guy, also Dana Altman, great team, totally good, 7-6, totally some great resume wins. Anyway, we'll see you next week for the Northwestern preview. They're a bunch of frauds. They stink. Chris Collins is a bum. And we'll see you next week.
Later.